Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Wake Up with Workday. I'm your host, Tony Gilfillan, and we are going to jump into the news today. All right. That's an old one. I was reading Reddit earlier this morning, and I came across this post from somebody just talking about using vibe coding at a FANG company. And it honestly holds up to what I used to experience back in my development days. So I'll share this. It's pretty interesting, just kind of how vibe coding has kind of fallen into the standard SDLC lifecycle these days. Obviously, the person to person stuff is still very important and most of the software development experience, but has increased the actual development process quite a bit. This one was pretty interesting. I actually noticed this just this morning myself. Is that Salesforce updated the Slack bot? So if you guys are Slack users, the Slack bot that's kind of built into any Slack workspace is now AI powered. So go ahead and check that out. It can do a number of things and has context into a lot of different connectors depending on your company's settings. This one's a little terrifying. Basically, there's a never before seen Linux malware out there now that is very sophisticated. Reading through this, it had like 37 different modules that basically make it more stealthy and plugs into a bunch of different things that basically makes it very scary. So the world of hacking and malware is definitely using AI to its advantage as well and making it significantly more scary. And in that vein as well, ServiceNow had a vulnerability that it did already patch up last October, but I think this kind of very much showcases the need for security minded development when you're building this kind of stuff. They essentially wrapped their AI agent around its existing virtual agent within ServiceNow, and then that essentially gave it basically unlimited powers if you had a few different types of credentials to get past. Very simple security. There was no MFA behind this. All you really needed was an email address that had admin credentials to create new users within this ServiceNow instance. Again, this has since been patched, but just a very interesting security loophole that, you know, be very security conscious with all this agent stuff these days. Like, you don't want to give agents the unlimited power that, seemingly is very common these days. Alrighty, now let's jump back to the Orchestration Insights app that we've been fiddling with. I unfortunately lost the little page that we were messing with at the end of the call yesterday, but I am going to just recreate that. Shouldn't be too hard since we already do have the orchestration itself up and running. Did I lose my AMD changes too? I did. That's all right. I have my page here. Gonna go to the page load, add the endpoint one more time. My URL. And just leave it like that for now. Auth type SSO. Application type. Let's pick this. I think we were saying it's endpoint name. All orchestrations. Pretty sure this is basically where I left off yesterday because of the struggle with connecting to my really anything yesterday. I was having all kinds of internet issues. My fat fingering right now. Oh, I misspelled Logan's name. Neil. Alrighty. What's it about now? All right, so what we got here is all of our orchestration runs, and I need to basically create a grid out of this API to properly display this. So let's go ahead and create a grid. We can generate the component. Context to my page. Grid that it all works into point. Spell grid right. Third. Nope. All right. Let's slap a grid in here. Rows. I need to see this in a little bit. That's ugly. To see this in a little bit easier to read format. Okay, so filtered total. This is all tenant alias. We will specify this particular tenant for our grid. All right, and then we're gonna do the rows. doesn't like JSON because it doesn't have quotes around the strings. I'm trying to get basically everything underneath apps, I believe. This comes out a little bit nicer. Let's just run actual API. This is actual well-formed JSON. The rest is just a string. So when it's coming through my page here, basically it stringifies all those strings so it doesn't have quotes around it, and that makes using it in these JSON path evaluators more complicated. Now if I want to find so this is just my URL to do here. This should be getting all of the orchestrations in tenant, correct? Or no, the app reference ID. So for all of the orchestrations underneath this app. That makes sense. Okay. I was going crazy there for a second. But I want to get all of the orchestrations from all apps in this tenant. Boy, spinning. Here we go. This is the URL that I'm using, or the the API that I'm using in my page. So this is the one that I'm going to want to check. Copy. So how do I organize? Now I need to figure out basically just the JSON path to get basically per app ID will be just trying to think of how to sort this in a grid. Do I do multiple grids per app? That would be complex. Let's start with the easier version and make it more complex as we get down to it. Grab this URL. Get all works.data. Right. Is this too? Trying to get very simple data into this grid. This and results. Results. No columns. Sense. All right, let's add some columns here. And we'll just start with running and successes. Got to add a cell template. That's going to both be text. Giving me a headache. Where is our row identifier? You're building a grid. Row variable name. Looking for. Just gonna call this. Illustration. Show cell template. Value work dot. What's it as? Probably this whole kit and caboodle. We need apps. Not pretty. So apps and then summary state. Words, probably. And then this one, dot running. This one's also going to be a text template. Similar. Key value dot success. I think that's success. Success, yes. I'm just matching up my JSON with basically what's coming through currently. Oh, this has to be that. Yeah, it's just coming through as the text right now because it's not the code, the PMD script tag. Oh, doesn't like that. No property found apps. So this is. Gotcha. This has to be up here. That's an array. And this is not an extra dot right here. Yes, it is. It's going to be the row variable orc dot. That's what I'm for. The row variable is essentially referencing the data set that you put up the top here. This is nothing. Wrong here. Let's see the whole thing. This is gonna break, but that's okay. So results. Oh wait, it is working. Here we go. So up at the top here, we basically have the running for each of the apps and then the successes. Let's label these so these aren't. And then we should also have the app name itself, so we actually have some relevant data here. One more column. This is going to be app ID. So a text template. And grab this value, not summary state, but probably just app ID in that. Yeah, so underneath apps, we're not looking for the summary state, we're just looking for the app ID. That should make our table much more easier to read. Nope. A little code button to turn into the BMD script. Otherwise, it's just reading these as plain text. Error encountered with widget. Also broke my, hold up, column ID. All kinds of typos right now. Give this a proper label, that's right. This is going into results. Results is the apps. Do I not need to specify? Because every single row coming through is going to look like this. So why is that not giving me the data I'm looking for? Oh, ID. D is not capitalized, right? Yeah. Capitalization matters with JSON. Oh, you little Y. And my variable names aren't appearing on the labels. Oh, that's the text template label, not the column label. Here is where I put in. So put here or this. I still don't know why my app ID is not coming through. Make myself another little text box here just to play with my paths. Get all orgs. That's the rows. Dot results. So that's the results. See what that gives us. Pretty sure it's going to give us that array of apps. Keep forgetting to push the PMD script button. Okay, org name. Oh, this is a different. I'm looking at a different response request actually. So this is going to be the so this is oh my gosh. So I'm using two different APIs and two different responses here to try to figure this out. That's my problem. So the API response I'm looking at here is actually from this Insight app orchestrations, which is the one that specifies the app ID from the one I'm looking at. So that's only going to be returning the orchestrations from this app. It's going to return all the orchestrations from this app. But this other API request is all the orchestrations from my tenant. And that's this JSON right here that I'm looking at. So that's why I'm fumbling from this app ID and apps array. Oh my gosh. So be cognizant of what you're actually retrieving and what you're trying to sort through, because I just made that mistake. So this is not going to be app ID, it's going to be orchestration name. And then I'm going to put this. Where did my, there it is. This is not app ID, this is orchestration name. There we go. Wonderful. So now we have a nice pretty grid here, and we can then create another grid for all of the orchestrations that come through our entire tenant. So this grid is just the particular app that we did. So this is not app ID, this is orchestration name. So tomorrow I will fiddle with the larger API here that pulls in all of the apps from my tenant, and then we'll find a way to essentially disseminate that into a larger, more complex grid that can handle multiple apps and all the orchestrations underneath every single app underneath the tenant. That was a interesting lesson in in JSON and endpoints that are coming in and being cognizant of which API you're actually calling. All right.